What is up, Ravens Nation? How are you all feeling after the Ravens clobber the Miami Dolphins to secure the AFC's top seed and win the North, the best division in the NFL? That game went off the rails in a hurry for the Dolphins, and we've seen that the Ravens do this to several opponents this year. I suspected this game could turn into a blowout, but I didn't think it would. I thought the Dolphins, a lot to play for coming in, would keep this thing interesting, and it was very interesting in the beginning. I was a little concerned early on with our banged up secondary as the Dolphins were seemingly moving the ball at will, but the Ravens tightened up and figured out what they needed to do to stop it, so they get a key extra week of rest for several key guys. Our secondary is absolutely demolished right now, so this is going to be so crucial to hopefully resting these guys up and getting them as close to healthy as they can get for this playoff run. Which leads me to the question I have for you guys. Should the Ravens rest their starters in the final week against the Steelers and risk being rusty when they come back in the divisional round? Or do you think they should play the starters for at least a half or part of the game to minimize the rust when they come back for the playoffs? The one thing I love maybe most about this team is their hyper focus. Even though they accomplished their regular season goal of winning the top seed in the AFC, they won the division. Their leadership in particular with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, I put the spotlight on him all season long, has been never wavering, one game at a time. Doesn't matter if they win, whether they lose, it's one game at a time, one day at a time. And when I started seeing some people talk about a possible letdown in this game, I just did not feel that was going to be the case. The Ravens had too much on the line here. This extra week is going to be so useful to them, and now the entire playoffs run through Baltimore. That is going to be so crucial. And so shout out to the leadership, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, Roquan Smith, all these guys, and everyone on the team that has stayed hyper-focused through this season. They had a few hiccups early on in the year, had trouble closing out games, and that was a little disturbing early on in the season. It looks like they are starting or have figured that out through the back half of the season, which is very encouraging. I said in the beginning of the season, the most important thing is playing your best football come playoff time, and I really believe this team is doing that. It's so crucial they have home field now through the entire playoffs, and this extra week, hopefully to get Kyle Hamilton, Brandon Stevens, hopefully Marlon Humphrey, who got banged up again yesterday, and also resting some of these guys on offense. I would be surprised if we see Lamar Jackson trot out there against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm not immune to the PTSD from 2019 where it went off the rails in the playoffs. This team has a different feel to it, in my opinion. I think that they remember that, and they're going to learn from that experience and come back ready to roll in the divisional round. Nothing is given, everything is earned in this league, and I think they have that mentality 1,000,000%. So I love this team. I'm so happy they got this win. An absolute dominant performance by this team, and Lamar Jackson in particular. 18 of 21, over 300 yards passing, 5 passing touchdowns. I know there's been a lot of debate about his MVP case. I think that it's closed after this. Whether or not you think he's had an MVP season, he's the betting favorite, and after that performance, I think it's all but done. I would be surprised if we see him in week 18 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'll make a separate video on that. Like I said, I would love to know what you guys think. Should the Ravens rest their starters, or should they roll them out there for at least part of the final game against the Steelers? Let me know in the comments. If you're new, subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Go Ravens!